and Anna. So one last note on event Randy just brought up is, so make sure you guys know you can take credit card donations. So on your e-tools with all of your fundraising pages, there's an opportunity to take credit cards and also scan checks. And so that's a great way at your events, especially if there's alcohol and people are really giving and generous and excited, that it's not just cash only, because people a lot of times don't carry cash. And one thing that Nick did with his campaign, I don't know where you are, Nick, but he set up a specific Venmo account for his campaign so that he would be able to promote that at the event and just say, if you would like to make a donation for raffle tickets or whatever, it was a Venmo account, but it was specific to Team Elevate, so there wasn't any like confusion in his own personal Venmo. So just a couple extra thoughts. So we are now going to talk, did you guys know that there's a party at the end of the campaign? Woo! Yeah? So we have a grand finale gala on June 9th, which will be the culmination of the campaign, where we announce the grand total, announce the winners, and it's actually a fundraising opportunity in itself. So Joseph, who was a candidate in 2016, who raised over $50,000 and had 3 or 4 tables of people, supporters at the grand finale. He will speak on his experience, and then Anna was our Woman of the Year in 2016, raising over $160,000 actually, and had a lot of supporters there. So take it away.
Hi, so we're going to talk about the party, which you all look like you're about to fall asleep, so that's why we're going to talk about the party, but also there's a lot of money to be raised at the party. I don't know, I'm sure Joseph will talk about how he did, but I walked into the party having hit my goal, and then I raised a ton more money at the gala. So the gala is a really good opportunity, especially if you're like worried about how you're going to push yourself over the edge. It's a big place to do that. But what I'm going to kick off this with is talking about in-kind sponsorships for the gala. So there's a lot of things that you need for a gala. You need photographers, you need invitations, you need programs, you need all sorts of things. You guys should have a page that looks like this in your booklets of a list of in-kind sponsorship opportunities for the gala. So if you happen to know people who do any of these things, and you reach out to them and they are willing to donate their services, or on some of these things their goods, but mostly services, you can get those things donated by the people you know, and then you get a credit, and there's different credits next to each item. The cool thing about this is you can start like literally when you go home today, securing these people, because what's going to happen is when we kick off the whole campaign, starting at midnight that night, the first people to like email, I don't know if it's Lauren, LS, some email address, if you're the first one to be able to offer up those services, you get it. So like if you already have your photographer friend lined up, ready to go, midnight hits, hey Lauren, I got the photographer, I get, I don't know, $1,000, it's somewhere on here, $500. So for me, I had a bunch of friends who wanted to help, but they didn't have big networks for fundraising, they didn't really know how to help. I had one friend who was a graphic designer. She ended up taking the design for the invitation and for the program. And that was like a significant chunk of money. I can't actually remember how much it was exactly, but it was a lot. And it was a lot more than she would have raised if I'd made her a team member trying to fundraise on her own. And she just did something on a weekend that was super easy for her to do and was a super massive help for me. And then I had another friend who's a photographer. She's a professional photographer that's broke because she takes beautiful little kids' pictures for parents who don't have money for fancy ones. And she donated her photography services, and that was like a huge amount of money that she could have never helped me raise. So like I said, those are things you can start now, but it is like first come, first serve. So the more you do to secure it pre-kickoff, be the first one to email and get that in, and you can do a lot. And then just technical stuff. You can only do up to 10% of your total fundraising for the end. So like if you end up raising $50,000, only $5,000 of that can be from this stuff. There's an upward cap, so don't use this list to do your entire campaign. It won't work. But yeah, there's tons of money to be made there. And now you get to talk about the actual day.
So if I can add to that, so there's a lot of, I'm sure, people in your network that they've never asked for money, they've never formally fundraised, and I think that's something that most people that haven't gone through this experience probably are familiar with. So I think, so when you're thinking about in-kind donations, the friends or people that you know that are really unfamiliar with formal fundraising, think of a different way of asking them to be helpful and an asset to your campaign. And like, for example, one of my friends, he's never been in a fundraising, he's never actually fundraised before, but he has some connections with floral arrangements, because he used to work for a startup that sold, flower arrangements. So with that said, he was able to use his network to get all the floral arrangements donated for the gala, which I think was like anywhere between a $500 to $1,000 credit. So it's just something to think about. I'm sure you have friends in your network that just really don't maybe feel comfortable fundraising or don't know how they can help, but they truly want to help. So, that's pretty much all I have to say about the in-kind donations. The grand finale and the gala. So I'll give you a short sort of story, more so about myself, just to kind of give you a sense of kind of where I'm coming from and sort of my background, to maybe it will help your own experience. But so roughly, it was like 2.5 years ago, when I moved to LA, I had very little network. I didn't know. I probably had 5 friends in LA total. So for anyone out there that doesn't feel like this is going to be like a really challenging task to raise over $50,000, for someone who just moved to LA and had 5 maybe total friends who lived there, it's possible. It's very, very possible. So I lost my mother to non-Hodgkin's lymphoma back in 2013. So participating in this campaign, it did happen very serendipitously. Lauren actually was the one to nominate me, and I thought this would be just one way to give back and kind of pay homage to her. So I thought this is, raising $50,000 in 10 weeks was something that felt very daunting. But and the reason why I really want to talk about the grand finale and gala is because I raised like 30–40% of the money that, to make the $50,000 plus mark at the gala. And frankly, I was baffled when I got called on stage and they said, for everyone who kind of raised over $50,000, please walk on stage. And Lauren can attest to this, I was dumbfounded, didn't know how I did it, but there are so many opportunities at the gala through the supporters that you bring that will help you kind of make your mark and help you get over that $50,000 mark. And not to say like if you don't, it's disappointment by any means, because this is such a admirable pursuit, a noble pursuit that it doesn't matter. But sort of my best advice with the gala is that just invite those supporters that in your network, maybe a little older, maybe they have a little less time on their agenda to kind of respond to emails and phone calls. Maybe this is something that they'll feel more comfortable because it is a formal event. There's people their age there, and I just think, truly, I invited a lot of, for example, my brother's friends and a lot of his friends of friends, and I think it's $200 a ticket, right? But one thing to note is if you raise, I think, up to $15,000 in the first 5 weeks, you have a complimentary table. So, maybe your friends who aren't normal, wouldn't normally donate, maybe that would be a perfect time to get them in the moment. Because I think at the gala, just to kind of try to put try to wrap your mind around that experience, it's a very special night, very, very special night. The amount of work that goes into that, literally takes the entire length of the campaign, if not more. They probably started planning it last year. It's a tear-jerking event. It was definitely, I would say, one of the top 5 moments of my life. So please do not underestimate the power of this event. mean, by all means, it's, yes, it's another opportunity to raise money, but like getting the people that you care most about in this room for a purpose that's like so much bigger than yourself is probably no greater feeling in the entire world. Like, and I truly mean that. You know, I get goosebumps just talking about it. So, anyhow, I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys can bring, and you know, my whole spiel here was just to kind of make an impression of just how important the gala is. You know, prepare for it, start asking now, plant your seeds with your friends and your family. You know, even just a soft ask now is just something to kind of get them thinking about it. I mean, I've asked friends and family for months, just telling them about it, you know, repeating, hey, the gala's coming up in June, it's going to be an exciting event, we'd love to have you there. And, you know, when you speak with passion about it, like they'll see it, and they'll certainly see your excitement and your sort of genuine ask, so.
So a couple of tips on how to maximize funds at the gala, because it's a super special night, you're totally right, but you can also make a ton of money at the gala, and I want to underline that because we're still in the fundraising section of the presentation, and I don't want you to walk away not knowing that 30% of your stuff, I mean, he walked in feeling probably pretty proud about what he did, and then what, like, could you imagine that moment? Like, I actually helped someone accomplish that goal last year, and that was the most amazing thing. Like, my ability at the gala to push her over her limit or her goal was incredible. So think about it this way. You can secure up to 3 silent auction items for gala night. I don't think we have time, I'm not gonna go into like what does better than others. Your beautiful LLS people can help you figure out which items are good, but those are 3 opportunities to make some extra funds. Also, the ticket sales, which Joseph talked about, you can sell tickets to the gala if you want to bring people. My recommendation on who to bring are people who like to feel emotional things and get swept up in moments, that like watch those Sarah McLachlan movie or like commercials and then like call and like sponsor dogs for 3 years. Those are the people, and I know it sounds really strange, but I brought people to the gala, like my year, I brought people that were like my family and my team, and that was wonderful, and we all came to celebrate, but they were just done with me. They weren't gonna put a dime in, and so you should definitely invite those people because that's your celebratory moment. But then also invite people who like watch these videos and watch this like moment where like all these people, you are all gonna raise so much money collectively, like you can't even like kind of conceive of it right now. And that night is like the culmination of all of that. And there's just a lot of beats during that gala where your heart is feeling a lot of things. And then they have this moment where they do this thing called Fund the Fight, and everyone takes out their cell phones, and there's this big number on the wall, and you're like, how high can we get that number? And everyone goes crazy, 05, and then your name flashes, and you're like, oh, I want my name to flash, but not with a 5, 100, oh, that feels bad, no, I'm gonna be 1,000, and it is like nuts. It's like the nuttiest moment I've ever seen. People go crazy, and that's what I'm saying. Like those people, and I'm one of those people. I've spent $1,000 last year at the gala. Like that is nuts. Why? No. Do you know how much money I've donated to LLS over the years? And I'm like, 1,000. That felt good. That felt awesome. So that is a moment, and like the power of that day is incredible. So please, 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 when you're thinking about who to invite your loved ones, invite people you want to celebrate, because honestly, that is your night. It doesn't matter where you end up in the list, like that is your night, and it is a wonderful, wonderful night.